Good afternoon, guys. I am Mama Bear to many. I am a stay at home mom to 14 children. I have 12 children that still live at home, and we homeschool. So, today I am going to go over some things. I've gotten quite a few questions about unschooling, and I really understand that unschooling is kind of a hard concept to understand if you've never heard of the concept before. So there's so many different ways that people unschool. I have an approach that's kind of like I like to show my kids the world and do things hands-on and that type of approach. I think a lot of unschoolers have that type of approach as well. Although I do see sometimes if you look up the word like unschooling, there's just people that kind of let their kids run wild and they just go and, you know, eat when they want to eat and um maybe they play like video games all day. That's definitely not what our household looks like. Unschooling for me is like a child-led homeschooling, and that is what we do. So, I really like to incorporate in our homeschool travel. So, I'm going to talk today about different travel opportunities and different ways to use travel and how I would prepare, like for a trip and all that type of stuff. So, I didn't write a list out. I'm just kind of talking to you guys like you're sitting at my kitchen table, drinking some coffee with me, and we're just chatting about homeschooling and those types of things. So, let's get started. We are planning a trip for our family. We have 12 children still at home. We don't think that schooling starts at like a specific age. We don't say, okay, a child is 5, now I'm going to homeschool that child. We start from the beginning when they are learning, when they're 1 year old and we're walking up the stairs, we'll go 1, 2, 3, and we'll just count up the stairs, and it just becomes like a part of life. I think learning is a part of life, like you don't just say, I'm going to sit down and just carve this time right now into, I'm going to learn right now. But there are times that you're saying, I want to learn a new skill and I need to carve out that time to learn the new skill. I want to learn about web design, so I need to carve out that time in order to um, do web design. But overall, I'm still learning every day. It's still a group effort, and we like to just take that knowledge that we were created, you know, to learn, and just use that to continue on. So this might be a little bit chatty, a little bit. I don't know what it's going to be. I just figured that I'd ramble out my thoughts because I get so many questions, and hopefully I'll answer the questions that you guys have been asking. So we are planning a trip, and we are planning a trip to Colonial Williamsburg. We live in Maine, and we are going down to Colonial Williamsburg. So the trip is, I'm actually looking for a paper. The trip is 16 and a half hours long. And we decided that we were not going to do 16 and a half hours with 12 children in one trip. So what we decided to do was to split that in half and do an 8-hour trip, stop, and then stay a day in that area, whatever area we decided to stop, stay a day, do something fun in that area, get out, stretch your legs, all that type of stuff. Then spend one more night and then leave the next morning to head to Colonial Williamsburg. We'll do the same on the back side, but stopping in a different location. We'll travel around 8 hours. We'll stop, do something that day, and then travel on and continue. So I think that what I do is try to make the most of, if we are traveling and we are making a trip, make the most of that trip. So ways that we like to spend versus not like to spend are, we're able to save money by bringing food. That is a huge thing that we do, that we save money, and that is one way that we can afford things. People might ask, you've said before you're on a limited budget, how are you making this long trip? All those types of things. We saved up the money for where we're staying down there. We saved that up over the fall, and we were just putting money aside. We saved that money up, so that's already paid for. Then we did our taxes have come back, and these other things, the opportunities that we have, we are using our tax return in order to do that. So that is how we are affording this trip, and we may even have just a little bit left over. We'll see how it works. Sorry. We'll see how it works out, but we try to make it a priority, traveling a priority. So lots of people might spend the average, which I read off the internet, so who knows, by Mr. Google Pants, but it's $500 spent per child per year homeschooling using curriculum. We do not spend that at all. We use our library. We spend, as far as bookwork, curriculum, sit down and do whatever, we spend roughly $50 a year per child, just for that type of stuff. If a child, as they're getting older and they're in their teen years, if they want to do a lot more curriculum, then we move around and we find funds in order to do that. Currently, we don't have a child who's wanting to use full curriculum. Last year we did. So, yeah, that was a little side thing. So how are we affording it? We are affording it by just using our tax return and able to do it that way. Another way is just, if you're not eating, let's just say you're eating out. We do not eat out. I see lots of families that are eating out once a week, a couple times a week. Their parents are going on date nights, all those types of things. None of those things are bad at all. I'm not saying that going out to eat is bad, or that, parents having a date night is bad. My husband and I just choose to use our money in different ways, and we would choose to use our money in order to take our kids for an experience. So it's just a different way of looking at things. If we went out to eat once a month and that was $150 a month, then times that $150 times 12. If we were going out once a week, even pizza once a week would be about $100. So pizza once a week for $100, that's $5,200 a year. So $5,200. We're doing this trip right here under that. So we make choices that we'll bring our own food. We'll sacrifice, in those types of areas. We'll use less curriculum so that we can do more hands-on type journeys. So that's how we're affording this type of lifestyle. We are not made of money by any means. When just depending on seasons of our life and what we had going, there were some times that most of our trips were really local trips. And I think that we'll probably talk about that today. If we don't talk about that today, I will do another video on local trips. So for this trip, we are going from Maine down to Virginia, Colonial Williamsburg, Virginia. So I'll just give you a little map in case you don't have the states all in your brain. So I printed this out for the kids because some of the kids expressed that they want to color each state as we go through it, and I thought that would be fun. So they will have that. So we are actually going through quite a few states just to get down there. So we are going to be planning a halfway trip, and I was trying to decide what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something in New York, and then we kind of voted on what we wanted to do in New York. So we're going to do the Statue of Liberty in New York. We were debating on hop on, hop off buses and that type of stuff. The ages of our children and what the kids really desired to do, and the safety as far as getting all those kids on and off buses. All those things came down to that we all pretty much decided that we wanted to do the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island. And some kids are actually more excited about the Statue of Liberty than they are. Are you watching the aquarium movie?
I was, but I was wondering.
No. How about you watch the aquarium movie and then we're going to have a snack after, okay? Okay, thank you. So, they're watching I found a movie about beluga whales. It's about an aquarium and beluga whales. So they're watching that, which you'll find out why in just a minute. So We decided that we're going to go to the Statue of Liberty. So starting a couple months ago, I kind of prepare the kids and prepare things as far as getting books out of the library about the Statue of Liberty. We read things about the Statue of Liberty, how it really represented like freedom and just the like representation of it, who gifted this statue and all that type of stuff. So we've done lots of reading and stuff about the Statue of Liberty. We've gone on YouTube. We found like some tours about around the Statue of Liberty and around the area itself. And those have been fun. We also have, there's like a screw shoved down in my table that I just am realizing is there. So yeah, we did all those things. And then we also are going to be going to Ellis Island. So that's really interesting. We have found out that we have somebody on our side of the family that went through Ellis Island. So we have that person's name that we're going to try to look up while we're there. Ellis Island also provides, it's called, what are they called? My brain is going a little downhill. Oh, Junior Ranger. There we go. It's also a Junior Ranger site. If you do not know what a Junior Ranger is, then check that out. It's on like the National Park Service, and there's tons of places throughout the United States that offer a Junior Ranger program. We've done a couple of them. They have badges. When they're done with the program, they get like a little badge. And so they can collect these badges. They look almost like Girl Scout badges, or I haven't seen Girl Scout badges for a while, but you know, the old like circle badges, and it has like the national park or whatever written on there. Ellis Island is one of those stations. So I have the information about where to go to get the information to complete in order to get that badge. So we will be staying there. We really had to be cautious. I did not want to be staying in New York City. Well, I was okay to stay in New York City if I could find some place that we could park that wasn't, we have a high top handicap van, so we cannot park in a parking garage, which makes things very difficult. So we ended up finding a place and booking some place that is not that. It is actually in New Jersey, just out on the other side of like where because you can get the Statue of Liberty ferry from either the Jersey side or from the Manhattan side. Okay, New York side. I think it's Manhattan. I'm not quite sure. So you can do that either way. So we booked all that. So you're making your trip worth it. So if you're stopping to go to the bathroom, try to stop at a place that makes it worthwhile. We're going to be stopping, Lord willing. I want to try to drive through until we get to New Hampshire. So the first day would be Maine to New Hampshire. I want to get out at the visitor station there and maybe collect some things about New Hampshire and stuff there. We had gone in the fall to, actually last summer, we had gone to the White Mountains in New Hampshire, but I want to see what else was around and such, and just grab some maybe list type things from the visitor station. So I want to grab that from the visit there and then go to the bathroom and, fuel up on gas and that type of stuff. And then we will go down to hopefully just make it one trip. We might have to stop in between, but go and get right down to New Jersey and then stay there for the night. So we'll stay the night, go to the Statue of Liberty the next day, then leave the next morning, heading towards Williamsburg, but we are going to stop in Hershey, and we're going to they have a free tour at the Hershey chocolate place. So we're going to do the free tour at the chocolate place, which is about 4 hours from Williamsburg. So we will stop, do the little tour, use the bathroom, all that type of stuff. If we get there by like 10 in the morning, then we can do that, and then we'll head out. And then we may make another stop. I'm not quite sure. I'm kind of eyeballing. I think it really is just going to depend on where we're at. We might stop between there and in Williamsburg, but I'm not quite sure about that. So Yes. So then we're gonna go and we're gonna stop in Williamsburg. So while we're in Williamsburg, we have lots of things planned out. We plan on doing Yorktown and Jamestown and Colonial Williamsburg, all of which are exciting. The Saturday before we leave, they're doing Military Through the Ages at Yorktown, and where's it at Jamestown? Okay, I have it written down, but at one of the places they're doing Military Through the Ages, which sounded really cool. I'm pretty sure it's Yorktown. Okay. So we're going to be doing that trip. Then on the way back up, I had to find something. And so I could have just gone the regular way that we came down, but no, I wanted to go a different route. So I'm going a different route to go back up. And we are going to be stopping. I'm going to hopefully make the first rest stop a visitor center, maybe in like Delaware or something like that. And then we're going to be stopping in Mystic, Connecticut. And we're going to be doing an aquarium, which most of my children have never been to an aquarium. We live like in the boonies, so there's no aquariums anywhere near here. So we're going to be going to the aquarium, and then we will, like we did on the way down, we'll stay the night, go to the aquarium, and then stay the night, and then head back up home. So that will be our exciting trip. So things that I want you to consider when you're making any type of trip, especially with a large family, are if you can find family passes. A lot of times it's really a lot cheaper to do a family pass or a group rate than it is just to buy passes themselves. So for Mystic, which is the aquarium we're going to be going to, for Mystic, they have a family pass, which includes 2 adults and all children 17 and under, and that would be $209. So we got that family pass. And then you can also get additional tickets. I think it said 10% off. So my other children that are over 18 will get the passes discounted because we already have the family pass. And it's a lot cheaper. It's cheaper probably by $150 just to do it that way. It's just so much more cheaper. Just think of different places. You know, a lot of times, like, so the Hershey thing, totally free. If we wanted to go to, say, like Gettysburg, totally free. If we wanted to go to another battlefield, usually those are free. Historical sites, a lot of times those are free. Just like search the area, like look around and be like, hey, I want to stop around here. Okay, like that's free. Beaches, you know, national parks, all those things are usually free or very low cost. So check out prices of where you're going. Try to look on the routes. Have the kids help you. Get a big map and have the kids help you and be like, hey, let's go, you know, down this way. Or what do you think we should do? Should we stop here? Should we stop here? We discussed.
Mama.
We're gonna have snack in just a minute. You want to sit on my lap? I'll sit on my lap. It's not quite snack time. You have about half an hour. And then, let's see. I'm trying to read these. Leftover Valentine's lollipops. I'm sitting by them, so see they have them sitting here. So I am looking. Okay, what color? What color is that?
No. Blue.
Blue. You want the blue one? Okay. If you want the other one's green. Blue. Good. Okay. Tell the other kids they can have theirs. So they're going to have their leftover pops for snack. Okay. So just trying to find these cheaper places to visit, which is going to bring me to a different thing. If you are looking to do some traveling or to even travel near yourself, look for free places. Ask around, ask where people like to go, put a little hey there out on Facebook, like, hey, where's your favorite beach? Where's your favorite park? Yes. You can just ask around and ask people what they think and where they want to go. Search historical sites in your state or search parks in your state, whatever you want to do. Just search, pretend you're a tourist in your own area, and then make a day trip of it. If it's only the gas money, then make it your day trip. You can save a lot of money. One of the biggest savings that I see in a lot of households is food. You can save a lot of money in your food department, either by eating, I think if your kids knew that there was like a purpose on you doing things a certain way, like, hey, we don't go out to eat, or we don't go grab coffee all the time, or we only go grocery shopping once a month, and then go every 2 weeks for vegetables and such. If we're trying to do all those things, I'll be back. I'm back. They were fighting over lollipops, so I had to discuss that situation with everyone, to be thankful that they have a pop at all. It doesn't matter if they don't have the correct color or whatever. Anyway, life in a large family, life with kids in general, they sometimes argue about the silliest things, or what we deem as the silliest things, but apparently the color of a pop makes a huge difference when you're a younger child. Okay. So another thing is my husband is on the same page with me, and that really is helpful, because I make my husband's lunches, or my daughters will help make my husband's lunches. Sometimes my husband will throw stuff in his lunchbox. I would rather do it, because then I know that he's getting like more food. A lot of times he'll just throw like one thing in there, and it's like, okay, you're working all day, you need more nutrition than that. But if I forget, he will like throw whatever in his lunchbox. That said, so he doesn't spend any money out at all for lunches or anything like that. So he also has a really big coffee cup, and he fills that up in the morning, and he brings really big water with him in the morning. So he has his full coffee cup, and he has his full water. And so he doesn't spend any money on coffee or anything like that. So just let's say that you're spending, I'm just going to give like general numbers because I don't have a calculator here or whatever. But let's say that you're spending $3 on a coffee every day, 365 days a year. That could be $1,000. 365 times 3 is over $1,000. If we want to, we could spend $1,000 and go camping. So that's another thing that I was going to bring up, is a lot of times this time we're going down there, and it's in March, but most of our trips are camping. We tent camp. Yes, we tent camp with 12 children, which requires that you actually, for our family size, we need to have most of the time 3 campsites. So we will book out 3 campsites, and have certain people at certain areas or whatever, and have 3 campsites, and we will go camping, and we will enjoy ourselves camping. Because of the things that we get to see, or the things that we get to do, or whatever. So we really enjoy camping. Not everyone enjoys camping. Would we rather be in a hotel room? Yeah, a lot of us, or some of us, or whatever, would. Honestly, like, I would probably rather camp, and my husband would rather be in a hotel. It's just like who we are as people. I like being outside. I like just nature and that type of stuff. I like just the closeness of like hanging around a campfire, and whatever. Like, I just really like and enjoy that. My husband would probably prefer to have a nice comfortable bed, although as I get older, I'm like, I would like a nice comfortable bed, but I still like the thing of camping. And I'm not, you know I yeah, I can't think of a good word. Even though, like, I would sacrifice that for my kids, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, even if I'm uncomfortable on the ground, I mean, most adults are going to be like, oh, I'm not the most comfortable person on the ground. I make that enjoyable for myself. I try to make myself as comfortable as I can, like within the limit so that I get enough sleep. I'm also nursing a baby at night. And so we try to make that as comfortable as we can for our camping experience. We have a futon couch that has a really thin futon mat. And so we'll just take one of those and we'll bring that. And then I'm able to like nurse and camp at the same time. I have nursed with newborns, no issues at all. You just kind of make it part of like your life. So, yeah, camping can be so affordable for us. 14 people camping like on the beach even would be like maybe $1,000 for a week. If we were to stay in a hotel for on the beach for our family, that would cost eight, 7,000, $8,000, something like that. I did look it up before, and it really just depended on where. Some were like over 10,000. I'll be honest, but I did find a couple that were late 6,000s. Um, as in like 6,995, that were on the beach. I just found one that was on the beach that was 6,995. Most of them were around 8. Um, Even if we were to stay like in a beachy community, not on the beach, that would be 4 to $5,000. Sorry. So we are saving like oodles of money just by camping, and you get that experience of like being right there. I mean, so we camped a couple years back. We camped at this place called Cooks Bay, and we asked for the group site. And so we stayed, I think it was it was 3 nights, 4 days, 3 nights. We stayed at this campground. It was gorgeous. Literally, it was like there was one, two, three sites, and actually like a fourth kind of up over here. And it's on the coast of Maine, right on the ocean. But it was like up a hill, and there was this little path from the middle site. There was this little path out to your own island. Like nobody else could get there except for if you had those campsites. So we went out to this like tiny little island, and it was like so cool because there was just this little path that was probably, I don't know, maybe 10 feet wide that you could walk through on that path and get to this little like, the kids thought it was like a secret island, and it was just really cool to go there. We were able to clam while we were down there, and it's not too far from our house, so we just came back and did our chores and those types of things like while we were down there. But I think it was under 300. It was under 300 for those 3 days. I think it was like 250 or something like that. And so we did different trails. We hiked up mountains. No, did we hike a mountain on that one? I know we did a trail. We did the seashore trail on there. And then I think that we did. It was like an overlook. I'm not quite sure if it was technically a mountain or just like an overlook area. And we did that trail as well. So we did some trails. That was when my son, who was in the wheelchair, he was actually at a handicap camp. We used to go camping when he was at the handicap camp, and that's where we went that year. But yeah, you can get like campsites for really inexpensive and have that like really cool opportunity. We camp at a local place, and they can go out and kayak and paddleboard and all that type of stuff. They'll rent those things out if you wanted to do that type of stuff. And those are all experiences, and those are all good things. And in amongst nature, you're finding so many things. Like we've seen different types of owls when we've been out. We've seen different tracks when we're walking on nature trails. And um, yeah, there's just so much opportunity to learn. And if your kids are already like mentally in the space of, I want to learn about this, they're going to come and be like, I have 20,000 questions that when I get home from this trip, we are looking up. And they'll be like, hey, mom, this. Hey, mom, this. And we'll look it up together. If I have my phone on, if we have internet service, I'll be like, I don't know. Let's check that out. Like a mom doesn't need to know all the information. A dad doesn't need to know every single answer to every single question. I mean, you don't. that's the beauty of being able to homeschool, unschool, is that their senses have been reawakened into learning again, into wanting to learn, into all the aspects of why does it snow? Why does it snow here? Like, um, why is it raining right now instead of snowing, even though it's cold outside? All those things, like every single day, there's like a million questions that you're looking up and you're discovering. So, another question that I was getting a lot was how I do this legally and how I keep records of this and all that type of stuff. So, when I'm planning a trip, there's quite a few things that I will do. When I'm planning a trip, I print off paperwork for different kids who want to do different paperwork. And so while we're on the trip down to wherever we're going, then we will do, I don't know, 20 questions about the Statue of Liberty. We might do a coloring page for the Statue of Liberty. We might do a worksheet like this for Jamestown. We might not. Um, so we'll have all those things for when we do, when we're planning and preparing. We'll have all of those things, and not everyone has to do every single thing. It's more of, hey, who wants a worksheet about this? And if they're in the car and don't have much to do, they're probably going to be like, yeah, who wants to play a game about, 20 questions, Statue of Liberty? Who wants to do that? Who wants to play the United States game? Who wants to do whatever? So I just need to write those things down. All you have to do is document that you're doing that. You have to write down, like, hey, we are playing this game. Hey, we did some worksheets. Hey, we went to this place. And if for us we need a certified teacher, and you'll develop a relationship with that teacher, so the teacher will know and understand what you're doing. There's some years that we don't travel as much and we are like all on the farm, and there's so many hands-on things that we're doing at the farm. We're learning how to spin wool, we're learning all these hands-on things, and I just have to document those things. We learned how to can, we learned how to cook, we learned how to, do all those things and have all those skills. We just have to write it down. I mean, it sounds simple. I know it's not simple when you are writing things down for 12 children, but I write it all in one book, and my teacher shows me a little bit of grace. Another thing that you can do is you can take a bunch of pictures, and then at the end of the year, you can either print off those pictures and let the kids make their own scrapbooks, or you could go to a place like Snapfish and make a homeschool book that has different examples of things that you've done, and print that out, and then send that in with your portfolio stuff, with your samples of papers and the things that you learned and that type of stuff. Um, all those things are great. We always keep like a running list of everything that we are reading and have read, and all those types of things. So I will be back in just a minute because I'm going to grab some. Okay, so ways we prepare for the trip. A huge thing that we would do for any trip is thinking about preparing. So, different things that we are preparing for this trip was, like I said, getting books out about the Statue of Liberty, looking at videos about the Statue of Liberty. There's two great videos about Ellis Island. One is out by the History Channel, and it's a fairly shorter video. I think it was like 15 minutes or less. That was really good. And then there's one that they actually, I think it's called Island of Hope, maybe, or Island of Tears, Island of Hope. I don't know. Search Ellis Island movie if you're interested in it. It's actually it plays at Ellis Island, or that's my understanding. So I thought that we would watch it ahead of time, so we have that planned to watch actually later today. We're going to be watching that one. So they can get the understanding of Ellis Island. So we're also doing different things. So we have some books that we have read. We finished this one. I'm not quite sure if we're going to get to Gettysburg, but we are going to be driving like right by it. So they will see like the signs for Gettysburg and that type of stuff. So that will be interesting because they'll see, oh, hey, right here. If we do stop, it'll only be for a couple minutes. Um, Winter of the Red Snow. This is a really good book. I kind of went over it a little bit before, but we just finished this one, and it was really a good book about the Revolutionary War. And then we are working on this series. We finished the first book. Is this the first one? Yes. Okay, we finished this first book about the Jamestown colony. We have also gotten a lot of picture books about Jamestown, as well as just Colonial Williamsburg, Yorktown. A good series for watching is Liberty Kids. That's the name of it. So there's quite a few videos available, full episodes available on YouTube. Liberty Kids, and they have Yorktown, and they have a bunch of ones that would go in with that time period and such. So they watch the Liberty Kids videos. I'm trying to think. Do you remember what other things they were watching that I had them watch? I'd have to look at the I'd have to look at the thing. So, oh, I know. So it might be a controversial type video, and it's not specifically about Jamestown, but it got um people thinking and whatever. So some of the people who are old enough to differentiate about certain things that are allowed and aren't allowed. It's not like a recommendation. There's a movie. It's called Colonial House. It's kind of like the 1940s house. Um, but it's American, like the Frontier House. I don't know if you guys have seen that. So there's a series brought on by PBS, and they do Frontier House, Colonial House, that type of stuff. So they're okay movies to watch. I think they give a good depictment of certain things, but I don't like. There is like drinking in both videos, and those types of things that maybe our family don't like condone, like drinking to drunkenness, don't condone or anything like that. But I think overall it might be something that you could watch as a parent ahead of time and then decide if it was for your family, or if it was for your family in certain ages of children, that can decide what would be okay and what wouldn't be okay. But I think it gives like a good background of some things and how people came on ships and lived their life in a simple living. That one was actually filmed fairly locally in Maine, but it's the same type of thing, just like Plymouth Plantation. It was Plymouth, and then Virginia's, Jamestown is Virginia. So we have been reading and looking at picture books about Jamestown and about other things as well. They are watching right now a movie. It's a TV show that's called The Aquarium. Okay, so we didn't have TV for 16 years. And then, no, 18 years. We didn't have TV for 18 years. And then my husband went, and he works for a cable company. So he gets free TV. So what I have found is really helpful is I can DVR. It's like record. You guys probably already know what this is, and I just didn't know what it was. Okay, so you like record a TV show, and then you can watch it later. So I recorded a couple shows, and they're called The Aquarium, I believe that it is. And so they're watching in the aquarium, but it's about beluga whales. And when we go to Mystic, my understanding is they have beluga whales there. So that's what they're watching now. So they'll get a little synopsis or whatever of that and understand what they're doing. Other shows that you guys might be interested in, might be able to incorporate into your homeschooling, is there's a show called Rock the Park, and that is if it's like these two guys, and they go to different national parks, and they tell about like the national parks. That's really kind of interesting. And then there's another one that's called like the zoo, and that goes inside of like zoos and explains different things as well. So if you're looking for or planning to travel or do any of those types of trips, those are some things that I have found, and I found that they have been family friendly, as far as the ones that I have seen. Okay. So I think that that is about it. It's just like preparing, planning. We don't really force things. Unschooling is child led, but at the same time, my children aren't going to say, "Hey, let's go to Williamsburg, Virginia." They're not going to do that, So be a parent, be excited to learn with your kids, have some thoughts on what you want to do, and maybe things that you want to learn, or places that you want to take the kids. I would love to take them a couple places this year. I have some things in the back of my mind, and it's like, okay, I need to start planning for the next trip while we're actually on this trip, and or not on this trip, but during this time frame, because you have to prepare ahead, especially when you have a large family. So I don't really know the point to this video. I'm just trying to answer the questions that have been asked and give you a better all around understanding of how something works as far as unschooling, and how it's not exactly like your children just gone wild and they just do whatever they want, as much as they want to do it. I mean, that's kind of like saying, I'm just going to let my kids eat whatever they want and they can just have candy all day. Well, I'm not going to let them have candy all day, just like I'm not going to let my kids play a video game all day. Um, excuse me, not that it's innately bad, but it's just not, profitable and beneficial for their learning. I still have this cough. So yeah, if you have any questions about unschooling that you'd like for me to answer in a direct or roundabout way, because I don't know how I'll get about it, please leave them in the comments below. And I'd be happy to try to answer those for you, because we did not start as unschoolers. We started as traditional homeschoolers, and we have moved to unschooling. And we have just seen such a blessing from changing from a traditional style to an unschooling style of homeschooling. It is just like beyond incredible, the differences that we have seen. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a blessed afternoon.